So Solo came out a little while ago, and to the feigned shock of everyone, was a huge disappointment at the box office. I'm not going to act like I'm surprised, considering that nobody I talked to actually wanted this movie, and yet on the weekend of its premiere, my newsfeed was flooded with people trying to convince me that it's not that bad. To which I say, okay, but is it Star Wars good? Before we go any further, I want to make it perfectly clear that this video is not about Solo. I haven't even seen the damn thing, and I have no plans to ever see it because I know it's not worth my time. This video isn't about Solo, it's about the bizarre reaction I've seen from moviegoers trying to convince themselves that it wasn't a waste of time, because that's exactly what it sounds like to me. It's not that bad shouldn't come off as an endorsement of a film because movies and TV shows that aren't that bad are a dime a fucking dozen. If I wanted to, right now, I could go watch an anime about a teenage thief who basically has magic powers and talks to his dead dad through a jukebox in his secret Batman basement, or a dark comedy about the bureaucracy of Japanese hell that plays off of themes of business systems and idol culture. And both of these shows aren't that bad, but based solely on their premises are also infinitely more interesting than it's another heist movie, but it's got a Star Wars logo on it this time. Now your mileage may vary on whether those kinds of shows appeal to you, but surely they at least sound a little bit more creative than fucking Solo. My point is there's better stuff out there for you to watch instead of reluctantly going to see a movie you're not even that hyped for just because it's got nostalgia or a recognizable name attached to it. And better stuff isn't that hard to find. I just finished a 20-year-old Magical Girl series that holds up better than a lot of the shit I watched last year. It's got more creativity in its left pinky than Kathleen Kennedy has in her entire body. It's early Madhouse, so you know that shit's gonna look fucking great. And it experimented with a more fluid idea of sexual orientation long before that idea even entered the public consciousness. I'm not even trying to make a point with that last one, I just found it interesting that it would even attempt such a thing. And that's what I'm getting at. It tried to be different and unique. So what did I think of it overall? It's pretty good. Strong 7. Yeah, there were some boring parts where I just kinda zoned out, but by God, its high points are fantastic. The cute moments are cute, the weird moments are weird, and the hype moments are fucking hype. And around the same time I started watching that show, I found out about another Magical Girl show that's even better and more interesting. Because that's what happens when you broaden your horizons and stop consuming the same shit over and over again. You start to learn things about your taste that you never knew before. I didn't know that I was gonna love Sancha Sanyo. I hated Slice of Life when that show started airing, but it ended up becoming one of my favorite anime of the year, and it led me to 2 other Slice of Life shows that also became some of my favorites from that year. And I would have never found any of these shows if I had just stuck in my hole of mediocre action-adventure stories. I'm not content with something that's not that bad. I'm on a constant search for greatness, looking for the next awesome thing, wherever it may be, that's gonna add something to my overall media experience. It's been a while since my last strong 8 or light 9, A Place Further Than the Universe was 3 months ago now. I need my fucking fix. So when I take a look at a seasonal chart and think, which show is going to be the next awesome thing I watch? Is it going to be the same derivative stagnation that I've been seeing for years on end? Or is it going to be this weird, controversial hybrid of tropes, genres, and influences that's had a stranglehold on the community for the past 4 months? I don't fucking know. I haven't seen any of these shows yet, but my money's on the latter one because it looks like it's at least trying to be different. But Ember, aren't you a huge Pokemon fan? Isn't that series mired in the exact same problems you're describing? Well, it was for a while, which is why I stopped watching it for a really long time, but around 2013 the Pokemon Company realized, hey, this shit's getting kinda boring and isn't selling as well as it used to. And so they've been innovating every segment of the franchise ever since. X, Y, and Z is by far the best part of the TV anime to date. Sun and Moon is fucking weird and fun and experimental and a whole bunch of other stuff. I Choose You is my favorite Pokemon movie so far. The games are getting further and further away from the same old copy-paste formula without losing the core essentials, and the past few arcs of Pokemon Adventures have been consistently great. The X and Y and Oris chapters are fucking amazing, and you absolutely need to catch up on this series so I can fucking talk to someone about how awesome it is that a children's manga can be this intriguing. It's really weird to think that I probably love Pokemon now more than I did when I was a kid, but sometimes we get lucky like that. Not all franchises are created equal though, and I don't think that we as a collective internet need to talk about these more than we already have. I'll defend something as long as it's good and interesting, but as soon as it stops being that, I'll have no problem throwing it in the dropped pile. At least it'll be in good company. I also don't want to make it look like I think playing it safe is inherently a bad thing. I thought The Force Awakens was pretty good, and there weren't a bunch of people in my newsfeed calling it not that bad. I'm pretty sure the general atmosphere was much more like this.
Oh my God!
Playing it safe isn't the worst thing in the world if you can back it up with some fucking effort and expert film crafting, and I can probably find a dozen concepts in this movie that stand out within the franchise. On the other hand, it's still not a super original movie because it borrows so much from A New Hope, which is fine, but it's also why it's not one of my favorite things ever. In contrast, I went to see The Last Jedi 3 fucking times while I was still in theaters because that movie was cool as hell. Yes, it had a lot, and I mean a lot, of stupid shit in it, but the parts that were good were fucking amazing. Plus, it's got a lot of metatextual commentary, and you know I eat that shit up like there's no tomorrow. Rian Johnson took a huge risk, and it became one of the few movies from last year that I actually liked a lot. Not as good as Logan, which also took a lot of risks with the superhero formula, but you get my point. Meanwhile, we have Solo over here like... Hey, where should Han get his last name from? He's alone? Yeah, that works. Despite its faults, I really enjoyed The Last Jedi, and I'm definitely not going to forget about it for a while. And that's the most I can hope for with any kind of media I consume. Storytelling is not meant to be disposable garbage that we consume and then forget about a day later like we just went through a drive-thru. That's not how we've evolved as human beings with a higher capacity for thought and creativity. We're better than this. You deserve more from your entertainment. Now, if you still just want to veg out on a couch and consume whatever's in reach so you can unwind after a stressful workday, then go right ahead. That's your prerogative as a free-thinking individual. I know I'm hardly the first person to make this point, and I certainly won't be the last, so if you just don't care, then I understand. But that ain't me, and I got better things to do with my time than commit myself to a sinking ship. So the next time you hear, "It's not that bad," just remember that they didn't say, "It's good." And if it's not good, then why should you watch it? Thanks for watching, everyone. I really just needed to get this idea out there. It's been banging around in my head for weeks now, and I just sort of need to vent about this idea. So let me know what you thought of my ideas in the comments. If you enjoyed this little rant of mine, or if you think I'm full of shit, just let me know below. And if you enjoyed this video and want to see more, be sure to like and subscribe so you can stay up to date on all my latest content. Special thanks to Jan Rogalski, Rourketon Joing, Kushina Minami, Christine Seibert, and all my other patrons for their generous support. My name is Ember, and I'll see you next time.